Great evening, everybody. Welcome, welcome, welcome to On Fire to Inspire. I am your host, Aaliyah, the Purpose Midwife. I want to thank you so much for joining us this beautiful, beautiful Tuesday evening. You could have been anywhere else doing anything else, but you chose to spend it with us. And for that, we're completely grateful. Y'all, with this being Black History Month, y'all know we could not have a Black History little known fact segment, right? So tonight I have some family and friends coming on in, and they're going to be sharing with us some Black History facts. So first off, before we get started, I want y'all to hit that share button or tag some family and friends so that we can learn a little bit more about our history. Because y'all know we don't learn a lot in our history books about our history. So we're gonna learn some things, and their assignment was to teach us something or tell us something that we don't hear on a yearly basis. You know, we hear about Booker T. Washington and Sojourner Truth and just, so many greats in our history. But I wanted to know about the little known facts that we haven't heard about. But before we hop on in, I want to thank sensationalgalore.com. Sensational Galore has all of your great body butters and body scrubs for men and women. So men, don't think that you're left out. We got you covered there as well. There are 6 or 7 different fragrances for you guys. Women, we have a very variety of those. Some of my favorites are Champagne Kisses, Pineapple Paradise, Mango Madness, and Love Spell. All of these are some of my favorites. But if you go to sensationalgalore.com, you will be able to take a look. And again, men, there are fragrances out there for you. So you won't be able to say, well, yeah, I'll always talk about the women. We got Boss for you, okay? We got Strong Man. We got Iron Man, Zeus, and so many more out there for you guys, okay? So check that out, sensational-galore.com. And someone can actually type that in the Monet. You can type that in the comments and section, and they can go connect with that. Also, if you have not already grabbed your copy of Leadership Inside Trajectory, you can go to iworkfaith.com and get your copy over there at iworkfaith.com. If you're a leader of any capacity, you want this in your library, especially if you're in leadership. You're robbing yourself if you don't have it. And then finally, if you don't have any of my books, go check them out. If you go to Amazon, or you can go to onfiretoinspire.com, and it'll redirect you to Amazon to get any and all of my books. All right, y'all, we're gonna hop on in because I'm so excited about tonight. So our first guest is my goddaughter. She is coming back, and she's going to share a Black History moment, which is a little known fact that we're going to learn tonight. So welcome back to the show.
Hi.
How are you?
Hello.
Good. Monet, introduce yourself to the audience.
Hi, everyone. My name is Monet. I am Aaliyah's goddaughter, and I'm 25 years old, and my mom is the owner of sensationalgalore.com.
Great. And what Black History fact or a little known fact will you be presenting to us?
I am going to be talking about the founding of the first EMT services in the United States.
All right, take it away.
All right. So basically, I wanted to come on here today and talk about this because this is something that I had no idea about. And it's something that impacts our lives every single day. It's something that is crucial in our day-to-day lives that we don't really know the founding or the beginning of, and that is the EMT services. So I was not aware that the first EMT services and the first ambulance services were founded by a group of 25 Black men, and they were based out of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And these Black men originated from a place called the Freedom House, and this was an organization that basically supplied jobs for people who went around and delivered groceries in predominantly African American and low income housing units or neighborhoods. And so the original idea behind this was that these men would come together and they would turn the delivery services for food into a way of transportation, almost like an Uber service for people to head to medical appointments or to the doctors or things like that. Because prior to this time, which was 1967, there were no rules or regulations set in place for people who were undergoing medical emergencies. Most of the time, these people would be transported in the back of police cars or by volunteer firefighters who had no medical experience or no idea the proper medical techniques or procedures to make sure that these people were stable and healthy as they possibly could be in transport to the hospital. So these Black men created this foundation, and they took a course that was about, I want to say it was 32-week course. And this course taught them CPR. It taught them all the procedures, how to use all of the medical equipment that they needed. This way they could be able to provide that emergency care for the people that were in transport to the hospital. Because before this time, this did not exist. There wasn't anything that people were able to do to help these people while they were in transport to the hospital. And I didn't know this because we use ambulances on a day-to-day basis. You know, we see these emergency personnel working and doing CPR and making sure they know all of the proper procedures to try and prolong this person's life, like as they're going through a medical emergency. And this wasn't knowledge that was known before or practiced before outside of war and big hospitals and things like that. So just day-to-day people, you and me, on the, like, if we were to have a medical emergency right now, there wouldn't be anybody to take care of us en route to the hospital. And so I thought that was very interesting, and it was something that I wanted to share. I can't hear you.
Thank you so much for sharing that. I didn't know that myself. You said it was
1967, and they said that the first calls that they received after their training was actually for the uprisings that happened in 1968 after the assassination of MLK.
Wow. And this, I mean, I know this is so new to many of us. I mean, I know I've never heard of it. And so I love learning the new aspect. There's so many things that we didn't know, we weren't privy to. So thank you so much for researching that and sharing with us. We appreciate that this evening.
No problem.
All right. Thank you again, and we'll see you soon.
See ya.
Okay. All right, y'all. So tonight we are learning. We thanking Monet for sharing with us that the first EMS was actually a Black group, an ambulatory group that, with their proper training and stuff, happened in 1967, y'all. Wow. Okay, so we're gonna up next bring my little bit cousin, and he's gonna be bringing some information. Welcome back to On Friday Inspired, Brian. How are you?
Good. How you doing?
Great, great, great. Yeah, we brought Brian on. Was that November of 2022?
Yep.
Yeah, we brought Brian on of November of 2022, shortly after he had a hearts. What did you have?
Well, congestive heart failure.
He had congestive heart failure, y'all. And since we saw him last, y'all, how much weight have you lost, Brian?
188 pounds.
He has lost 188 pounds, y'all. He did not have any bariatric surgeries. He said, I've got to do this. I want to be here for my nieces and nephews. I want to be here for my wife. And I got to do what I got to do. Yeah. And so God gave him a second chance. And he said, I'm going to do what I got to do. So kudos to you on that. What will you be sharing with us tonight?
This Black inventor named Benjamin Banneker.
Okay.
Really, most folks don't even know who that is. So I'm gonna give you a little bio on him.
Okay. All right. Take it away.
Yeah. So Benjamin Banneker was born to free slaves in 1731. Banneker became an astronomer, author, inventor, and mathematician. He invented some of the world's most effective clocks of his time and helped plan out the city of Washington, D.C., and published 6 almanacs that each included political and social commentary advocating for rights of slaves and free Blacks. Like I said, he don't get a lot of credit, but Anytime you look at a clock, particularly the clocks that we look at now, you got to think about Benjamin Banneker. He's just one of the great minds of his time that don't get talked about much. So.
Yeah, thank you. I read about him years and years ago, and I completely forgot about him. And I don't think I remember hearing or reading about him publishing the almanacs. Then again, it's been a minute, so I may have just forgotten.
He was one of the first to talk about social injustice that was going on with freed blacks and slaves at the time. So,
wow. And you know, that was like the elephant in the room that people didn't want to address, you know?
Yep.
Wow. I thank you so much for sharing that little known fact, Black History fact.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Have a great one.
You too.
Thanks. All right, y'all. So we've had already, y'all, some great information. Have you learned anything already, y'all? I know I have learned and been made aware of some new things myself. Now, we have my godmother coming up. She is a playwright. And well, I'm not going to introduce her. I'm going to let her introduce herself. Welcome back to On Fire to Inspire. How are you?
Well, good evening to everyone. And I am happy to be here. I am a playwright. I'm a self-published author, and I'm a volunteer wherever I fit. And I just love people, love being around people, and love doing whatever I can to help anyone. I got that attribute from my mother and my dad.
Okay.
I wanted to talk this evening on growing up in rural Macon, Georgia, country town. And it was really, really segregated. I mean, it was full blown segregated. And my dad was an activist and, during the civil rights movement.
Okay.
And he wanted me to be one of the the second year of Black students to desegregate a white school. And this was in 1966. And I was on honor roll when I was going to Ballard Hudson, which was the white school. And I went to which was the black school. Ballard Hudson was the black school. So being my dad wanted me to be a part of history, I went to the white school, and I was failing, although I loved English, but I was failing English. And mind you, I was making honor roll at Ballard Hudson, and I failed science, and I was in the 10th grade, and I went to Ballard Hudson that summer and took the classes and made A plus. During the summer. I spent the whole summer in summer school. So I carried my grades back to the white school that the blacks were supposed to desegregate. And the principal said she couldn't take my grades because Ballard Hudson wasn't in the same school system. Mind you, Macon was a small town with one school system. But she didn't want to take my grades because I aced them. But I was under a lot of pressure at the white school, predominantly white school. And I didn't know how to take it. And I was telling my dad I didn't want to disappoint him by going back to Ballard Hudson and finishing high school. But fortunately, I called my mother. My mother called the superintendent, and the superintendent was saying, how could there not be an acceptance, being we had one school system? And my mother called the NAACP. Then she called me back and said, your grades will be accepted. Then the principal said, well, we'll take them this time. Okay, fine. But I ended up graduating. I was a bit more comfortable in the 11th grade, and I ended up graduating on time. So I just say thank you, Lord, for I was done with the school, and I've been getting letters about class reunions. I didn't want any parts of it, but I go to a black school for their class reunion, the class of '69. So I was one of the ones who stuck it out. You know, we've come a long way, but we've got a long way to go. But I thank God for giving us the courage to speak out about Black history. And thank you, Aaliyah, for letting me be on this evening. I love you.
You're so welcome, and thank you. I love you too. Now, you were Black History in your class, graduating over at the desegregated school.
Mhm.
How many were you the only Black
No,
graduate?
no, there were about 15 or 20 Black girls. It was an all-girl school, and we all knew each other. And I've been saying I was going to do a documentary about them, but so many have passed. Because 2 years before I went there, the principal got on they would call it loudspeaker at that time, and said she wanted all of the Negro students to come in the um, auditorium because they need to go back where they came from.
The principal said that?
Principal, yes. Yes, that was before I got there, 2 years before I got there. But she wanted all of the Black girls to come to the auditorium because they need to go back where they came from. Some left and some stayed, but we all knew each other. It was rough, and that was one of my friends who was a math. I mean, she was a whiz, and they couldn't take her grades, although they wanted to. And she said they attempted to fail her math class, and she was a mathematician. So they attempted, but they knew that that wasn't the thing to do because she had to call her parents in.
Wow. Out of that class of in that particular 1969 of the desegregation, how many total students do you remember?
I don't remember. I do not remember, Aaliyah,
Yeah.
but I know we had about 25 Blacks.
Okay. Gotcha. Wow. Well, you are Black history, and your dad said, "Hey, I want you to make history." And
Yeah,
even though it wasn't a great experience, you learned a lot from it,
I
and you
did.
were
I
able to
did.
share with us.
I did. Okay. Okay. Thank you. And I love you.
Love you too. Thank you, and I'll see you soon.
Okay. All right.
Okay. Yeah, I tell you, we learn something every year about Black history. There were only two schools, one that they were desegregating and one that was all white girls' school. And they tried to fail her in that class. So she went over the summer and took the class. And then they didn't want to take it. But hey, thank God for advocating parents. Okay. You're not gonna do my baby like that when I know she is a genius. Okay. All right, next up we have Prophetess Nicole coming in from New York. Great evening to you, my sister. How are you?
I'm good. Look, everybody was so short, so I'm gonna cut mine down. I'm a shrink it some. Well, good evening, everyone. I'm not a stranger to On Fire Inspire. I've been here numerous times to support my sister and her vision, and that's what I'm gonna do again on tonight. So my person is Maggie Lena Walker,
Okay.
and she was the first woman to open a bank. Listen, she done a lot of good things. She was born in 1864 and passed away July 15th, 1864, and she passed away on December 15th in 1934. She was at the age of 70 years old. She lived in Richmond, Virginia her whole entire life. But after her father died, she helped her mother, which her mother did laundry for people in the neighborhood. So she would deliver the laundry for her mother. At the age of 14, she joined the Council of Independent Order of St. Luke, which was an African American organization to promote economic independence, which was founded in the Civil War. So we know that that was something that, was major for the African American community. Maggie ministered to the sick and the elderly, promoting humanitarian causes, providing long-term economic and social support in the post-slavery and education, healthcare, banking, and insurance, among other things that this organization provided. She became a teacher for 3 years after graduating from Richmond Colored Normal School, which she only got paid $35 a month. Listen, $35 don't even buy us breakfast and lunch for a week, okay? So we already know. But she worked at a school called Lancasterian, which when she worked there, the reason why she had to leave in those 3 years was because she got married, and they did not believe in women being married. It was their policy that their workers, if you was a woman, you could not get married. That sounds like a lot of control issues that they had. In the time that she was working at the school, those 3 years, she also worked part-time as an insurance agent, as well as she went to school at night for accounting. That's a lot. She was a woman that wore a lot of hats. After leaving the teaching, she strived for better and bigger and better, and began to move up the ranks. She became the top Grand Secretary in 1899. She served at St. Luke's for folding. She saved St. Luke's for folding because they had some people in high office that was mismanaging their money. In 1902, she published a newspaper for St. Luke's Herald. After that, she became the first president of the St. Luke's Penny Saving Bank in Richmond, Virginia, my goodness, which earned her the recognition of the first African American woman to charter a bank in the United States of America. Her bank was designed by the first Black architect of Richmond, who was Charles Thaddeus Russell. Come on, they're doing things in Richmond here, guys. Walker received an honorary master's degree from Virginia Union University in 1925. She was inducted into the Junior Achievement U.S. Business Hall of Fame in 2001. In her honor, Richmond Public School built a high school adjacent to the Virginia Union University. Miss Walker is known in 2001. Maggie L. Walker Governor School for Governmental and International Studies. That's the school that they opened in honor of her name. The office in which she worked in, which was also her home, is now a museum. It is the Maggie L. Walker National Historical Site, which in 2020, she also was honored as one of the first group of Virginia's women in history. They also have a 10-foot statue in Virginia. So if you're in the Richmond, Virginia area, I would suggest that you go, and I'm going to go when I go to Richmond as well. My goddaughter lives in Richmond. I'm going to go and I'm going to visit the museum as well as see the statue, because listen, she did so many things for the Richmond area. And these are things that none of us know. And I'm pretty sure a lot of us been to Richmond, traveled through Richmond, and just to know that somebody in those days from 1800s into the early 1900s have done so much for the community to help the Black people, our African American people, to be bigger and better. Come on, she did insurance, she did social work, like so many things, but to open up a bank to help. And she also didn't just open a bank, she helped them establish and help them to learn how to save their money and use their money in the right way. I know people today, we're in 2024, and I'm not talking about 18-year-olds, 16-year-olds. I'm talking about grown adults that still do not have a bank account, still do not. And I'm not saying, you run and you put your money in the bank, because I know people have their own issues with banks, but at some point, just have the knowledge, because she also did that. She gave the knowledge to the African American community of how to save, what to do, how to get life insurance, how to get, all these things. It's just amazing the things that our African American people did, that so much that we don't even know about, that we use every day. But just the fact that they honored her. Also, her daughter-in-law, she took her position when she didn't step down. She actually, 3 banks merged in Virginia. So she became on the board of director. And once her health started to fail, her daughter-in-law took her position. So it was a legacy. That is all I have for y'all today. But, if you're in that Richmond area, go ahead and visit. And, see, that's history in the making. The first woman to open a bank, listen, and she was African American. So kudos to her.
Yes, and I've never heard her name. I never heard of this
Never.
fact. I love that. Thank you
Mhm.
so much for sharing. I love this month because we don't tend to hear any of this. So thank you so much for sharing
Well,
with
y'all
us.
know I say Black History is every month, 12 months a year. So I don't just, I know they set this time aside, so they don't have to hear us fuss and argue. But you see, they gave us the shortest month, which the crazy thing is we have done the most. So God bless the African American people, and He will continue to bless us.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you again for sharing and always being available when we're asked, when you're asked,
Right.
hey, a Black History Month, girl, I got you. Thank you again. Have a
You're
good
welcome. Have a blessed night,
night
everyone.
too. All right, y'all. So we have learned about 4 great historians. In fact, with my godmom being one of the Black history makers herself, right? So finally, we have my friend and big sister, Dr. Lorinda Jones. Welcome back, Dr. Jones. How are you?
Hey, honey, how you feeling?
I'm great. I'm great.
Good,
Um,
good, good.
introduce yourself to everybody and then tell us who you're going to be sharing this evening.
All righty, I'm Dr. Lorenda Jones. I'm founder of Beneath the Grief Ministries Counseling Service and Beneath the Grief Ministries Services. And I am a professional counselor, life coach, author, all that stuff. So on tonight, I am going to just take a small little history, not much, but um, in gospel music. Like last year, I did Mahalia Jackson, and this year I was looking at a gospel group. And the gospel group that I chose is the Caravans. And I want to know, did anybody know that before the Caravans came into being, that they were called the Robert Anderson Singers? I bet you never knew that, because I didn't. But these Robert Anderson Singers became the Gospel Caravans. Now, in the Gospel Caravans, within the 1950s and the 1960s, some of the people that I'm going to mention, I'm sure that you've heard about them or heard of them. You've heard of Albertina Walker. You have heard of Shirley Caesar. You have heard of Inez Andrews. So I'm sure that you have heard about these people, because guess what? They were all a part of the Caravans. And they have been going strong for many years. So to me, that was a very, very big part of history, because each of those people, some of them are even still around today. Like we know Shirley Caesar. And, I really didn't know that she was part of the Caravans, and she left later on, like within the 60s, she had left, and she had went on her own solo life from the Caravans. So to me, that was a very, very important moment in history. And if we remember James Cleveland, that he was also had the Caravans along with him. in a lot of situations, a lot of the concerts and stuff that he did. So these caravans, the gospel caravans, they're very, very important group in Black history. And we need to keep them alive because, you know, you're going to see Shirley Caesar. So when you think of Shirley Caesar and we see how wonderful Shirley Caesar is, think about the caravans. I know I used to see this, it's a group and they do like a lot of singing in the course of the year, especially around the holidays. And they bring on a lot of the gospel singers. And so I remember before Inez Andrews had passed away, and that they would all get together and they would sing gospel songs. And it just made me think of the caravans. So remember the caravans because they are a part of history that we did not know about and probably don't really think about it because the people that are existing, and when we think of Shirley Caesar, Inez Andrews, and Albertina Walker, when you think of people like those, you remember them, but do you think of them in terms of the caravans? So there is your history moment in reference to history.
Thank you so much for sharing. I tell you, y'all brought some great, great facts for us tonight. Some fun, some great facts, some things I didn't know, some things that I knew bits and pieces of. So thank you so much for sharing tonight. Y'all. So if you missed any of this, you can go back to the replay. Do me a favor. I want y'all to, when we go off, I want you to go over to our YouTube page, Aaliyah the Purpose Midwife on YouTube. And I want you to like, subscribe, and I want you to share something about what you learned tonight, or if it was something tonight where you were like all of this that was presented, you knew nothing about. You know, what was it that either you knew and you're like, oh yeah, or I know nothing about any of this. So thank you. You know, so just share something with us, something that hit your heart, hit your spirit tonight. So thank y'all so much for joining us for this these little known Black history facts. And then also we will be back next week with another young woman that is making Black history herself. She is a doctor. She is an African American doctor, and she has her own business, and she's created her own vitamin. And so the vitamins, she said, and I'm not going to get too much into her testimony, but she said she saw so many of her clientele look like us, and they were younger and younger with all these health ailments. And so next week's topic, y'all make sure y'all hop in on proactive versus reactive. It's time to be about proactive about our health because we only get one body, and it's time to take care of it. So we're going to joining us next week will be Dr. Kalina Togo McDaniel. And she is our Black history person that's making history and making an impact in the Atlanta area and surrounding areas because you can buy her vitamins anywhere through her website. I will put in a link in here as well in just a moment. With that link, your first time order, you can get $10 off. And then I will send you another link with the key code that will get you an additional 20% anytime you want to get anything after that. So thank you, everybody, for listening in. If you have not already, go and support some of my sponsors. I'm telling you, Sensational Galore is dynamic. Oh, thank you, UEB Designs, for my queen earrings. Y'all know I love my queen earrings and my African attire. My Black History Month. Also, Dance with Mina. Y'all, we do line dancing and Zumba every Monday and Thursday at 6 p.m. and on Wednesdays at 10 a.m. at the library. Look at Dance with Mina, MENA, on your Facebook land, over in Facebook land. And let's see, am I forgetting anybody? Mom Biz Boss, aspiring entrepreneurs or current entrepreneurs. You want to connect with Mom Biz Boss, multiple operational managers. Moms, we do everything and we do it well. But it's time to connect with other people that have visions like yourself and either collaborate, learn, or just glean from each other. So mombizboss.org, connect with them. All right, y'all. I see y'all same time, same place next week as we learn about being proactive about our health and not just being reactive because it's too late when it's already too late. Okay. So we're going to be proactive and take care of our health. All right, y'all. See y'all next week.